So here we have negative 3/5 squared. So this is just negative 3/5 times negative 3/5, and then we multiply numerators. That's going to be 9, and 5 times 5 is 25, and we have a negative times a negative, so our answer is positive. Alright, let's take a look at this one. We've got negative 2/3 times negative 2/3 times negative 2/3. That's negative 2 cubed, so we got it 3 times. And then we have 1/2 squared, so that's times 1/2 times 1/2. Now we need to multiply all this together. So what we're going to do is I'm going to multiply this, and then I'm going to multiply this together. So let's say we've got 2 times 2. Let's see, negative 2. We can put the negative sign up with the numerator. So I've got negative 2 times negative 2 is positive 4. And positive 4 times negative 2 is negative 8. And then 3 times 3 is 9. Times 3 is 27. And then that's times. And I've got 1 times 1 is 1. 2 times 2 is 4. So I got negative 8 over 27 times 1/4. We multiply the fractions. These will cancel. So I'm left with negative 2 times 1 is negative 2 over 27 times 1 is 27. Alright, now let's look at using order of operations. We have to do multiplication before we do subtraction. So the first thing I need to do is multiply 5/9 and 3/4. Well, the 3 and the 9 cancel. I'm left with 3 and a 1. So I've got 1/3 minus, and then 5 times 1 is 5, and then 3 times 4 is 12. So now I'm subtracting fractions, and I get a common denominator of 12. And if you need some help on adding and subtracting fractions, you can watch some previous videos where I go over that. So we have to multiply 4 to the 3 to get the common denominator. So 4 times 1 is 4. We have to multiply 1 to this denominator to get the common denominator. So 1 times 5 is 5. And so I'm left with 4 minus 5 over 12, which equals negative 1 over 12. There's my answer. Alright, so here we have addition, we have an exponent, and we have division. Well, you have to do exponents before you do division. You have to do parentheses, exponents, multiplication and division, and then addition and subtraction. So we have to do the exponent first. So this is going to be negative 3/4 plus, and then I have negative 1/2 squared. So that's negative 1/2 times negative 1/2 is 1/4 divided by 2/3. Now I have to do the division before I do the addition. So I have negative 3/4 plus 1/4, and then remember, when you divide fractions, it's times the reciprocal, so times 3/2. So this gives me negative 3/4 plus 1 times 3 is 3, 4 times 2 is 8. Then I have to get a common denominator, which is 8. So I have to multiply 2 to this 4 to get the common denominator. So 2 times negative 3 is negative 6. I have to multiply 1 to this denominator to get the common denominator. So 1 times 3 is 3. So I've got negative 6 plus 3 over 8 equals negative 3/8. Alright, so now let's look at this one. I have parentheses, so I have to work inside the parentheses first. So I can put this 3 over 1 because I've got to subtract these two. So all I'm concerned about is performing this subtraction here inside the parentheses. That's what I'm working on. So I've got 12 over 5 minus 1/6 times, and then I get a common denominator of 5. So to this denominator I've got to multiply 5 to get my common. So 3 times 5 is 15. I have to multiply 1 to this denominator to get the common denominator, so 1 times 3 is 3. So now I have 12 over 5 minus 1/6 times, and then 15 minus 3 is 12 over 5. Now I have to do multiplication before I can subtract. So the 6 and the 12 cancel, so I'm left with a 2 and a 1. So I've got 12 over 5 minus 1 times 2 is 2. 1 times 5 is 5. We already have a common denominator, so 12 minus 2 is 10 over the common denominator 5, and 10 over 5 is 2. And there's my final answer. Alright, so let's look at this one. This is negative 3/5 divided by 9 over 10. Okay? So this is negative 3/5 divided by 9 over 10, which equals negative 3/5 equal sign times the reciprocal times 10 over 9. And then the 9 and the 3 cancel, I'm left with 1 and 3. The 5 and the 10 cancel, I'm left with 2 and 1. So I've got negative 1 times 2 is negative 2 over 1 times 3 is 3. Now let's take a look at this one. This is 6 divided by 3/4. 6 divided by 3/4. So I've got 6 divided by 3 over 4. The 6 is over 1. So this is 6 over 1 times the reciprocal, 4/3. And then the 3 and the 6 cancel. I'm left with 2 and 1. So I have 2 times 4 is 8. 1 times 1 is 1. And 8 over 1 is just 8. So there's my final answer. And that's it.